Hi there, I am Erman from Analyzify team. Welcome to our Google Tag Manager Data Analytics course for Shopify stores. This is the third video. If you don't have GTM container installed in your Shopify store, please visit the second video and do that first, so that the steps which we will take in this video will make more sense and then you can follow along. In this third video, we will cover the essentials of Google Tag Manager, such as tags, triggers, and variables. We are going to add global universal analytics and Google Analytics for tags, while learning the basics of GTM and how things function together. Don't worry, it won't be hard. Let's get started. In the previous videos, we have made an intro to Google Tag Manager, learn what it is and how it is used. And then we also set up Google Tag Manager on our Shopify store. To be able to move on with me from this step, you will have to place GTM on your Shopify store. So go back to the second video if you haven't done it yet. In this video, I want to give you a better understanding of Google Tag Manager essentials, such as tags, triggers, variables, containers, workspaces, preview mode, and so on. Let's get started. So this is how Google Tag Manager looks like. And the main functions you will always find in the left bar. Tags, triggers, and variables are the most important three concepts in Google Tag Manager. I want to start with tags. We can imagine tags as the code blocks that we wanted to be triggered in special conditions. For example, we want Google Analytics tag to be triggered in each page of our Shopify store because we want Google Tag Manager to send the data to Google Analytics in each page. But another example could be, we want Google Analytics purchase event to be only triggered in the thank you page. That means when somebody makes a purchase, that code needs to be triggered. So this is the main difference between tags and triggers. Let's think like tags are the code blocks and the triggers are the special conditions for those code blocks to be run or to be triggered. Let's make an example of Google Analytics code. I have created a new Google Analytics property for the sake of this course. You can do the same or you can use your current Analytics property. So, as you know, Google Analytics now has two versions. One is the old version, Universal Analytics, and the second one is the new version, GA4. So let's start with the GA4. Now I want to add GA4 tag in my store to be triggered in all pages. To do that, firstly, I will find my GA4 account. Then I will go to Admin, Data Streams, and then it will show me the data stream. I will click on the data stream. It will show me the measurement ID, and I want to copy the measurement ID, because this is the input that I need to put into Google Tag Manager. Now, I'm going back to Google Tag Manager. I am in the tags page, and I just want to create a new tag. It's always very important to name the tags properly, because in the future you will have a lot of tags, and if they are not named properly, you will have a lot of problem. For this specific tag, I will name it GA4 Global Tag. When I click the tag options, there will be a lot of tag options. However, GA4 configuration is already here. I choose that. It asks me the measurement ID. I'll just paste the measurement ID that I recently copied. These are the advanced settings that maybe we will touch base in the next sections of the course. For now, I'll just leave it this way. And then it asks me the triggering condition. So, in which condition this tag should be triggered. At the moment, I only have one trigger, which is all pages. That's what I will choose. And then I want to save this tag. So, the first tag is in the place to be triggered in the all pages. In Google Tag Manager, if you don't submit your changes, all of the changes will wait as a draft. So ideally, before you submit any change, you should preview and to see if it's working. Let's do that. I clicked on preview. It will open the Google Tag Assistant. It asks me the URL and I pasted the URL of my store. I click start. It's now being connected. It is connected. Connected means Google Tag Manager code is in the place, but it doesn't mean that our tag is working. To make sure, we need to go to Tag Assistant, and then here we will see the tags fired, GA4 global tag. If you click on that, you will also see the details of that tag. So this is how it works. Okay, now we made the GA4 global tag working in our store. Let's also add the Universal Analytics tag. If you don't know about GA4 Universal Analytics, I will leave some links below so that you have more idea about what's going on. I go to Shopify GTM course account that I created and then the Universal Analytics. The Universal Analytics accounts always starts with UA, and then the GA4 ones have always this GA4 prefix at the end of the name of the property. Once I click the correct property, this time I need to go to Admin, Tracking Info, and Tracking Code. Similar logic, we need to copy the tracking ID and go back to Google Tag Manager. I click New, and again we will name it properly. This time we will say UA global tag. And from here we will choose Google Analytics, Universal Analytics. UA refers to Universal Analytics. And then the track type is the page view. This time it's a little bit different because we have a different settings variable. From Google Analytics settings, click New Variable. And again, Tracking ID. Now we need to name the variable, UA Tracking ID. At this point, I want to mention about the variables and what they mean. Variable in the coding language, not only in the GTM or in Shopify. Variables are the values that we can reuse so that we don't need to add them again and again. For instance, at the moment, as we created this variable now for the UA tracking ID, if I need to use this again, I don't need to remember or copy paste the UA tracking ID. I'll just choose that variable. This helps us to create a lot of tags with the same variables without using the global IDs or measurement IDs, without having to memorize all of them. Another advantage of variables is when we need to change a variable, you don't need to change from all of the tags. You only change it through the variable and it will be changed in all tags. In the next videos, I will touch base to variables a little more in depth. So as I added the UA global tag, again I will choose all pages and save. So now we have the GA4 global tag and UA global tag running in our store. This time I will submit it. Whenever you submit a list of changes in the GTM, there is the detailed version log. This is amazing because especially for the stores or for the companies which have multiple people working on the GTM account, everybody can stay in loop with this. So the changes we did, we added a UA tracking ID as a variable, and then we added 2 tags. Let's go back to preview mode and then click Start right after we write our store name. We will see the debugger connected. If I go back to Tag Assistant, I will see the tags triggered. So let's make a final example with another trigger, because we only used all pages trigger so far. What I want to do is I want to add a new event into checkout in the thank you page. So for that, let's go and let's make a purchase just for test purposes. As you can see, here debugger is connected, and this specific page includes some URL structure called checkouts. So I can make a new trigger using this specific structure. I'll go to GTM and click triggers. There are several methods to make a new trigger, even more than several. There are maybe tens of methods, but now we will use the URL option. I click new, and for the trigger I will write URL checkouts, so that we know what will this trigger do. And then I will choose the trigger type page view. And then it will ask me when do I want this to be triggered. Definitely not in all page views, but only some of them. It will ask me what is the condition. I will tell page path contains checkouts. So now we have this specific trigger that will be only triggered in the thank you page. And then now, just for a test purpose, I will go and create a new tag to be triggered with this specific trigger. I will create another Universal Analytics tag. I will send a purchase event. If you are not familiar with Universal Analytics or events, don't worry, I'm just showing all of this to you so that you get more familiar with the GTM tags and triggers. In the next videos, we will also get deeper into Universal Analytics and GA4 events. So the tag type will be Universal Analytics. From the tag type, I will choose event. I will write purchase in the category and action. I mentioned about the variables before. So this variable, we will use the same UA tracking ID. We are not sending this event to a new Google Analytics account. So I will use the same UA tracking ID as a variable. And now we came to the triggers. This time I'm not choosing the all pages, but I'm choosing the checkouts. Everything seems to be fine. I'll save it. Before I publish it, I just want to double check if everything is working as expected. So again, I will close the tabs. Unfortunately, the new Google Tag Manager debugger, even though it's more powerful than the previous one, it doesn't work well when we renew it. So that's why I close it every time and then I reopen it, and I suggest you do the same. When you click preview, it will ask you to the same thing, again the URL. Once we say yes, the store will be opened here. This time, we will see the tags fired and then the tags not fired. As you can see, the UA purchase event is not fired because we are not in the purchase page. So let's go ahead and complete a purchase to see if this will work. While it's processing the order, I'll just go back to Tag Assistant and watch the process through Tag Assistant. As you can see, the new page came here, and then now the tags fired, the UA purchase event is also fired here because the checkout URL was matching. One pro tip here: once you click on a tag, you will see why it is triggered also here. You see URL, checkouts, this is triggered because of this. Because the page path contained checkouts. So this is the essentials of the GTM, and I just wanted to give you a high-level overview of how tags, triggers, and variables work. In the next videos, we will go deeper, we will make more examples so that you will have a much better understanding of how GTM works. You will take the best advantage for your Shopify store. See you in the next videos.